Hi there. Yeah, I wanted to chat a little about, learning by doing. Here's the thing though, if you're going to plan something, if you go to school, for example, and you want to, you maybe get a task from your teacher, right? They tell you that, well, you need to study about history or math or something else. So you get some books and you think, okay. And most people, just read and don't think much about how they learn things, right? So I suggest people to if they have a book and about the subject and say, well, how much do you know about it? And they go, well, what do you mean? Well, how much do you actually know about math or history or whatever you're going to study? I don't know. Why? Well, here's the thing, if you ask questions before you study something, that how much do I actually know about this subject? How much you activate what we could call a context or information reference in your brain. That means that you're activating, the encoding of new information into whatever information you already know. So you read the pamphlet of the book, the back side of it, and you're thinking about what chapter do I need to study, and the more precise and more you can define that, the better you learn. They've done research about this, so they tested people who read a whole book, and they told people to read a few chapters. And then they tested the retention of memory of that. Is that the people they asked to read the specific chapters actually was better than those that just read the book. So that's one of the things. So once you understand that you have to ask questions about something, how much do I know about something, activate the contextual reference, right? Then if you have a teacher who sent out you for a mission of learning stuff, then you ask, what is the teacher's idea of what do they want me to know about this? Not what you think, but what the teacher thinks that you need to know. So if you understand that the teacher is asking you something you can also study more effectively because you understand what they expect you to know. And if you study for a test, the same thing applies. You have to study a bit differently. You have to understand whatever they're going to teach you. Then, when you've done this, you can ask a few questions of, when I have been studying all this new information about the subject, I have activated my context of reference and my memory of that. I understand that I'm defining it a little bit more detail what I want to study. Then when I have done all that, I probably have learned something. This is important. You have learned something studying this information. So you have gained some new information and understanding about whatever they want you to study. Now, when I went to school, they didn't tell me to do this shit, right? They didn't tell me, well, Rob, here's a book about, history about the king, the fucking greatest, or whatever it is, right? And before you read the book, I want you to do this. They didn't tell me that shit, all right? That would be cool if they did, though. And it didn't tell me that, well, you have to define what you want to know about the book. All right. Didn't tell me that shit either. And it didn't tell me that, when you have actually learned something of this information, this book, that you actually gain some skills or knowledge or refining the skills or refining the knowledge. They didn't tell me that. They don't tell you how you learn. So I work with dyslexia, people with kids or adults. They can't read and spell stuff, They look at a book and the letters doesn't make sense. Or the letters make sense, but they forget the information. They read and then read again, and then read again. And they go, why can't I recall the information? Well, probably something going wrong with the reading. And they go, yeah, seems like it. So that's what I think about, pre-planning your reading for retention, if you like. The thing here is that when you start asking information here, about the information, what you have actually learned. And this is all happening before you actually read the fucking book, right? You ask questions about the information you're going to study. You define whatever you're going to learn. You ask questions about what you did learn as a result of gaining all this new information. So when you go to the schools then and present to the teacher the next day or days, or if you go to doing a test, seminar or whatever it is, you learn more. Now this is just about the school and books. Seems true in other areas also. If you're going to gain skills in any area, language, question, if you're going to study a language, how much do you know about, for example, if I'm going to study German, how much do I know about the German language? If I'm going to study French, or Spanish, or, Chinese, or, a lot of other languages. Or, if I'm going to study sports, how much do I know about golf, or tennis, badminton, baseball, the real football that we play in Europe. I love it when America, say, well, we have the baseball, and we win the World Series. And I go like, that's kind of cool that you have a World Series, but, only American teams wins that. So I think it would be called American Series, but, that's the definition, right? So you actually use this can use this in other areas also for skill acquisition. I talk about the down plan, the Dan plan, the Dini plan, whatever you call it. My English is like, rusty stuff. Here's a guy who's trying to prove that if you spend about 10,000 hours, give or take, you can spend 5,000 hours, 3,000 hours, or 15,000 hours. You can actually learn to become an expert or a proficient member of whatever, sport you practice. If you try basketball or volleyball, you will have a little bit more trouble because it will be too short. Because sometimes age and height or strength or stuff like that makes a difference. That's why they have different weight classes in boxing and wrestling, by the way, because people are different in that arena. The weight influences how much you can punch someone, harder you can punch it, the faster you can punch it, and all that stuff. That's why you never see a bantamweight boxer meeting a heavyweight boxer, because they already know how that's going to end. And it would be dangerous for the little guy also. Anyhow, this is true in other areas like skill acquisition. So what you can apply that for skills. Well, if I'm going to study the goal swing, I teach the goal swing by the way I've been, modeling this. When I build a model, some people maybe can get confused here. But when I study the goal swing, I model Mike Oster to hit the lawn. But it's to study Mike Oster goal swing and motion to be accurate. Because Mo Norman was more accurate than Mike Oster. And some people say, well, Mike Oster was really accurate also. Yeah. How many majors did he win? Well, he didn't win it because, he couldn't putt. All right, putting is kind of part of the game. Yeah, but Mo Norman couldn't putt either. He was really accurate with the golf club, but he wouldn't. Well, I think he was hitting it so close he couldn't miss, basically, so that's easier also. But here's the thing, though. So, if you want to have the best in parts of the game in golf, I look at Mike Oster with Tielsen, I look at Mo Norman for ball striking and accuracy. In putting, I look at, Nicklaus, Bobby Locke, other putters. And I personally, I don't think, I don't understand how a tour pro can be losing the putting. I mean, seriously, what are you guys doing out there? I don't understand that. I think putting is easy. I mean, it's easy to teach and easy to make people do things, and have this kind of consistency in putting also. It shouldn't change. You should actually get better at putting over time. You shouldn't lose it, and you shouldn't be worse at it. You should be better. But people don't train that way in the PGA Tour or at PGA Tour. So that's what I would like to do, you know, assist them to make a band realize the potential and all that stuff in the performance. So learning by doing. It's about understanding that you have to pre-plan the context, access your information you already know about, and often you know a lot more than you understand. Because this kind of activation is, most people don't do that. So if you don't do this kind of activation, your information is going to be, you know, at best random. So the brain is really good at some things. It's really good about context and retrieving information. But you also have to code it in that way in the brain also. So you have to recode and encode the information so it's easy to access later. And you can do that before even you start the subject or the skills or sport or whatever it is. So that's what I recommend to people to do. Pre-plan it that way. How much do I know about French? Wow. They talk French in Paris, I think, and France. All right. Some say it's a beautiful language. Some say it's a language of making, there's a lot of stuff in that you already know about the language and maybe the culture and also the stuff. But if you do that kind of preparation before you actually learn things, your retention of the learning is more effective. Some people talk about deep and deliberate practice and the talent code. You know, I promote what people call, or what I call, imperfect practice. That means you will fail more, a lot more, than actually succeeding in your practice. This will elicit a kind of reference for you. When you, in golf, I know how to do that in golf. In dyslexia, I know how to elicit the way the dyslexic can overcome their, reading and spelling problems. I know how to do that. I have defined it, so I can work with every dyslexia. And here's the thing, I work differently with every dyslexic because they have different dyslexia. But people in the field doesn't talk about that way because they don't understand it. But when my approach is the same. So learning by doing for me is by, understanding I have to pre-plan the learning, and I have to, ask myself what I'm going to learn when I'm studying and all that stuff. And then I have to, at the end, also understand what did I actually, if I did learn this, what did that make me, understand about the subject, or did I acquire, if I learn French, I can speak French a little bit differently, I can maybe have a bad accent, and I can communicate with people in a different way, I can, do things that I couldn't do, I can engage on forums online, I could, watch French movies. Oh shit, no, I don't want to watch those. Just kidding. You see, this is a lot of things, just, but most people don't spend that time pre-planning. And I also recommend that you do it with some kind of deliberate practice or deep practice, whatever you call it, that you have a high intensity and, short duration and rest a lot more. Because the more you are able to isolate and, just do one thing, when you do it and learn it, that's better. It's easier to learn, easier to do. But that's me. And now, that's my shout. By learning by doing. And if you like it, you can ask some questions. Try to answer the best. Until next time, right? Most likely golf. I love golf. Have fun out there. I'm the RBIM guy.